This is the laboratory.
His name is Casario Aranupa. He's the laboratory technician here.
What is flashing all over the floor?
This is the operating room. Despite these conditions, men and women are doing everything they can with the existing equipment and the lack of medicine.
This is our automobile machine. That's in 50s or 40s machine. So we get the picture here, and then we develop the films in that room here, and we hand it to the OIC for making its comments and treatment.
And there are no lights in this room.
Yeah.
No. We are sort of very essential basic drugs for the district. This is the district dispensary, and we've ran out of drugs since May, beginning of May.
This is August.
1998. In here we have lots of people coming with typhoid and chest infections, and we need amoxicillin capsules, and we need chloramphenicol to treat for typhoid cases which are coming in, and also malaria cases. After a long drought last year, we have lots of malaria cases coming in, and we have no drugs. You see, there's empty up there where the malaria drugs are kept. Here, all here. And this is where the chloramphenicol, you can't see anything here. Bandages here.
Even bandages.
You can't see anything on the shelf here.
They're waiting for treatment.
We're now at the Edmund Rice Eye&E Clinic at the Goroka Base Hospital. It's part of a special eye care program for the Eastern Highlands province, which is supported by Christoffel Blinden Mission, a German funding group in conjunction with the brothers, the Christian brothers. And we, through the clinic here, we provide eye services and ophthalmic services to the people in the region, and also the Mount Zion Centre for the Blind. And the project is under the care of Dr. Van Lensing, an American ophthalmologist.
A little bit more. Now we're here with Sister Lillian Siwi, who is a nurse, and a very good nurse, and has held the administrative and educational posts. And last year was named first the acting chairman executive of the hospital, and now for how many months officially the chief executive officer?
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Almost a year. And like most of the institutions that are run by women in this country, it runs very smooth.
This board meeting of the Edmund Rice Eye and Ear Clinic involved cost setting for laser eye surgery for low-income nationals, roughly $8 American. Compare that kind of a price to the price of $2,000 in the United States for the same surgery.
Be more accountable than organizations that are set up and of doubtful origin and procedure.
Sir Danny Lay is a legend in his country for kindness and generosity. A book should be written about this man.
I'm Brother Andrew Simpson, and I've been in the country now for close on 12 years. I come from Australia, and I'm basically involved in church administration and in teacher education. As a leader of the Christian brothers in Papua New Guinea, I'm responsible for the care of our brothers, and we've got at this stage about 43 Christian brothers working in schools and nursing institutions and work for the disabled, teachers' colleges here in the country. of those 43 brothers, 25 of them are Papua New Guinean. So part of our challenge even in that work at the present time is finding what really is Papua New Guinean religious life and sort of living as a brother rather than a Western style of life. Prior to my present role of leadership in that capacity, for 10 years I was principal of 2 different teachers' colleges, one in Rabaul and then one in Wewak. So I suppose whilst I'm a church missionary, my major role has been more in education than in sort of what we would call direct missionary work. My reflections on the country as a whole, we have a lot of problems. Social unrest, law and order, economic problems within the country certainly have a big influence on what's happening with the country at the present time. I'm also very optimistic that development will take place in the future. I think that there are too many good people in the country that will eventually work through a lot of those problems, but I think that we've also got a lot of heartbreak and a lot of worries to go through before that, particularly with the economy and with getting the right style of government, because it has to be admitted that at present I think corruption is a little bit out of control in our government. Now I would say that the present level of corruption in government is probably the worst I've seen it. A couple of years ago I knew it was in some of our leaders. They were sort of taking the cream off the top of finances and that, and they've had big investments overseas. We are beginning to see now, even at the service level to people sort of expecting kickbacks and payments for it. In our present government as well, I think that where our present ministers are also sort of doing a lot of cronyism, practicing cronyism and appointing their own people at the top and the top of government departments, and that slows down and reverses the role of development. The government model is supposed to be a Westminster model developed very similar to that of the British model, but I think like church and like education, within a Melanesian context, it doesn't work. It really doesn't represent the people fully at the present time. There are something like 110 national parliamentarians representing the country. At one stage there were over 1,000 politicians in the country for 3.5 million people. Because we're using a Westminster model, it's virtually grown out of an Australian model as well, because it was an Australian mandated territory. We still haven't found really what is an effective type of government to represent the people. Everyone wants to be a minister because there's more money in the holding those positions. Many of our politicians only serve one period in Parliament, so it's a matter of making as much as you can whilst you're a politician. There is great distrust of government in terms of their accountability. In the recent Aitapi disaster, straight after it happened, the Prime Minister suggested all the international aid should be put into one single fund, the churches, everything, and the people, there's been a groundswell around the country against that, because they just feel that it will be creamed off and not reaching. And even the governor of West Sepik province 2 days ago was making statements that the government has paid now none of the money that they said was there, and this is 3 or 4 weeks after the disaster, so it's not getting through. And the people are openly saying that they will only give it through the church because the church is working there at the people at that level. There are smart, intelligent young leaders in the Parliament if they